Alright, the next review is Vicious Fun, and it's directed by Cody Callahan. And it's a little bit. I really like the main character, Joel. He's like this. Well, he's a horror critic. Like, I thought that was awesome. The main character being a horror critic, like me, so I could relate to him. And so he's this horror critic. The movie starts out. He's at like Fangora or like some like Rue Morgue or just like some kind of like horror magazine, and he's telling the movie director that that basically his movie sucks and he has a better idea. And we move on to like he goes home and we get the idea. He's like this big loner loser with no friends, and we see this mysterious guy who's dressed like Ryan Gosling from Drive, and he's like dating his sister, and he's just really something's off about him. So he goes and investigates this mysterious guy, and he meets him at a bar, and they talk, and they're drinking, and he gets so drunk he passes out in the closet, and he wakes up, and he's at like the place is closed down, and there's like this circle of people, and it turns out the circle of people is like a serial killers anonymous, and they're going around telling their serial killer stories, and he has to convince this group of people that he's also a serial killer, but he has to use his horror knowledge to like make pretend that he's a serial killer. And the funny thing is, it goes back to the scene in the beginning of the movie where he's telling this horror director his movie idea, and it's like he's like, you should make a movie about, and it makes its rounds back to this joke that they're at and then they asked him, it's the movie idea. He's like, taxi cabs, and they all look at him like, taxi cabs, and he's like, no one would ever suspect a taxi driver, and they're like, oh, that's a great idea, and it was just funny. It was funny, but then the last member of the serial killer group comes in, and it's the boyfriend, and he recognizes him, and he calls BS on his whole story, and he exposes that he's not really a serial killer. And that's kind of the hook for this movie. I thought Vicious Fun was awesome. You gotta see this movie. It's on Shudder. It's so good. It's directed by Cody Callahan. I'll throw in a little bit more. It has Kurgan. I just call him Kurgan. When he was on the Oddities on WWE. I know he's done more. He was the Grim Reaper on The Strain. It has former SNL member David Koechner, Anchorman. He's bald. He's funny. So not a total Z cast. The guy who plays Joel, he doesn't play him kind of totally like cringy, nerdy horror, but he gets it good enough where it's not like he's a total shut-in and a total gross horror fan. Like, I love horror movies, because like I would hate it they represented like horror fans that way. It's a love letter to horror fans and slasher fans because it does feel 80s. It does feel like a throwback. It doesn't overdo it though. It feels like that in that like 87 to like 93 era of the 80s, where it's like it was like the last bang of slashers. And the MVP of this movie is the Bob, the who dresses like Ryan Gosling from Drive, the boyfriend. He is so hateable, but he does it in like this way where he almost carries the whole movie on his shoulders, and you're just looking at this like he's eats like I'm not. You ever hear of a scene eater? Like this guy devours the whole scene, and every scene is just like so funny. He just like his facial expressions. he's cool, scary, and like everything. Like he really holds his own in his like. I looked like he was in Orphan Black. I didn't watch that show, but it's got the girl who's gonna be playing the actress who's gonna be playing She-Hulk. He's in that, so he's not, he's a somewhat popular name if you watch that show, and he holds this. Another standout for this movie is Amber Goldfarb. She's in this like group, and she turns out to be this interloper in the group, like this outsider. But she is a serial killer. But here's the twist: she's a serial killer. She kills serial killers, and when Joel, the horror fan, gets outed, she like serves as his protector, and she's like kicking all kinds of ass, and so it's a love letter to slashers. It's a love letter to the 80s and like that like niche era of 87 to 90, that total sleazoid slasher hurrah era. So Vicious Fun is fun. You guys see it. It's on Shudder. It's awesome. Yeah, I can't recommend it. Like, that's pretty much one of my higher upper echelons. Like, you gotta see it. I don't know what any more to say than that. Because I rate it at 8 out of 10. Check it out. Vicious Fun. ASAP. Alright, everyone. Peace out. See you next time.